Take you there now live after two firefighters died in a fire and building collapse. Let's go to that live shot right now.
To a combined commercial and residential structure at approximately Independence Avenue and Prospect. Multiple units were dispatched at 7:27 p.m. on initial calls that indicated the fire was visible from the structure. Additional units were dispatched as the incident escalated with a full second alarm requested shortly after arrival. Tactical assignments were made, including the establishment of a rapid intervention team, and crews began operating to effect the fire suppression and occupant rescue, rescuing multiple occupants by ladder prior to the deteriorating conditions, forcing a shift to defensive operations. In defensive operations, all firefighters are required to evacuate the structure, and all personnel are to be accounted for. Evacuation was ordered at 7:52. At approximately 8:07, a collapse was reported on the east side of the structure. 2 Mayday calls were received from the collapsed area indicating firefighters in urgent distress. 4 firefighters were reported trapped by the collapse. The rapid intervention team witnessed the collapse and held their ground for no more than 10 seconds. For no more than 10 seconds until command ordered them to effect the rescue. They located, uncovered, and removed 4 firefighters from the immediate area. The first ambulance transporting the firefighter departed the scene at 8:13 p.m., arriving at Truman Medical Center approximately 5 minutes later. A second emergency transport left the scene approximately 8:21, with the arrival at TMC 5 minutes later. Both firefighters were pronounced dead at the hospital after paramedics, nurses, and doctors tried to revive them. A third firefighter was transferred to KU Medical Center at 8:23, and a fourth transported non-emergencies to St. Luke's at 8:27. Defensive operations at the scene have continued throughout the night. A complete investigation with the assistance of Kansas City PD, a national response team from U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms is underway. More details regarding the investigation will be released as the information develops. The deceased firefighters are identified as 17-year veteran fire apparatus operator Larry J. Leggio of Truck 2, 13-year veteran firefighter John V. Mesh of Pumper 10. Firefighter Leggio leaves a wife, a mother, and many immediate family members. And Firefighter Mesh leaves a wife, 4 young daughters, as well as many family members. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families of those who lost and injured, and with their peers throughout KCFD. We wish to recognize all those who have extended their condolences. It's been, the outpouring of condolences has been amazing. The compassion of the community has been amazing. I particularly want to give thanks to Kansas City KCPD and Truman Medical Center, as well as all other partner agencies who work with us daily to serve Kansas City to protect the public. And that concludes my statement.
As your department move ahead from this,
identifying the 2 firefighters who died as a result of that fire and collapse last night, an apartment building fire.
One thing about last
He's
night
taking questions. Let's listen in.
I'm extremely proud of the professionalism of on-scene personnel, as well as the response to the tragedy. And in these times, what helps us get through these times is how professional the department responded, and how we reacted to the situation. So we will continue to do our job as we do every day, as we have done every day in the past, and we'll continue to do it into the future.
Where are the other 2 firefighters from?
Those two firefighters were from Station 23, in fact, Pumper 23 at Independence Avenue in Van Brunt.
One was released last night.
I can't confirm that, but that is the news that I received last night.
You said that the evacuation order came at 7:52 and the collapse happened at about 8:07. Was it difficult for these men to get out of there? Why were they still in there at that point, even though the evacuation order had been given about 15 or 20 minutes later?
Yeah, let me make that clear. No, when I say we went to defensive mode, we went to defensive mode, and when I mentioned that all of those, that we give a personal accountability report, which is called a PAR in our world, that PAR was received probably, I don't know exactly, but probably at 7:55, 7:58, I can't remember exactly with the the detailed report. We were outside the structure. Every firefighter was accounted for outside the structure and operating to protect exposures on the east, the supermarket there on the east, as well as as well to put out the fire.
They were outside when the collapse happened.
That is correct. The wall, as best we can tell, we'll have to certainly look at the investigation and see what we can determine from that. But several of us were standing there, including the RIT team and Incident Command, and that initially it looked as if it was a backdraft, but after further consideration, it appears now that the second floor collapsed inside the structure, forcing the smoke and fire out the front or the A side of the structure, and that smoke and fire was pushed out probably 20 or 30 feet. In addition to pushing the smoke out, it also pushed the east wall, and it didn't fall like a normal collapse. It was actually pushed out and at least 30 feet for that wall.
30 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know you mentioned that for the family, at least they can know that their lives and the life leading wasn't in vain. Explain about that.
Well, yes, they affected 2 rescues. Actually, I think there was another rescue inside, but I can't confirm that. I know there were at least 2 rescues affected from the northwest corner of the structure early on arrival, and then another was brought down from inside the structure later on.
Chief Ferrardi, did you personally know either of the fallen firefighters? And if you did, how did you first meet them?
Of course, but we know everybody. So,
How did you first meet the fallen firefighters in your service?
I don't know.
2 conditions on the one firefighter that remains hospitalized?
I don't have, I'm sorry about that. I do know that his condition was good last night and may even be released today.
Okay, so one was good and what about the other one?
I believe he was released I believe he was released last night.
So one you think
Will be released today, and one was released last night. And we'll get more information. I'm sorry?
both were male?
Both were male.
Okay.
We'll get more information with that, and Chief Garrett will disseminate that information.
Chief, can we get the spellings of the deceased person?
Sure. Can I give it to you off air?
Absolutely.
You talked about how some federal agencies come in that assist with the investigation. Is there some indication that this might be arson related?
Not at this time. It's not. It's just typical that they have the expertise and the staffing levels to be able to bring to bear on this size of investigation. So if it's about a block-long structure, and so on these types of incidents, we can make that request as we did last night, and it was confirmed last night that they will be in town, but nothing suspicious at this time, but they will go through it with a fine-tooth comb in case there is anything there.
Do you have any idea on where it might have started or caused?
Not at this time.
Are counseling services available for the firefighters, and if so, have they already begun?
Yes, they are, and they have a strong support system, and the union president is here and has offered that assistance many times. And yes, we take care of that in-house, and then whatever help they need, we will absolutely get them that help.
And I know, Chief, you talked about not only counseling for the native firefighters, includes the families. And you never forget those families. Explain how you include now the families of the fallen firefighters.
Yeah, this is truly, I mean, the outpouring of sympathy and compassion was expressed to the families last night at Truman Medical Center, who was extremely generous with their resources. And so we extended, of course, any help and condolences we could to the family members, and that includes the family members who were working with them at the station, and Local 42 and Local 3808 was there every step of the way and are probably still there this morning. So unfortunately, this is one thing we know how to do.
Where's the firefighting up in that building right now? Are you in the mop-up phase of it?
It'll continue through the night, and I mean it'll continue through the day, and then they'll get the investigation. They'll be able to get in and start the investigation.
Is it considered under control right now?
There are some hot spots in there that they're trying to put out, but yes, it's under control.
And can you describe that building a little? You described it as a combined commercial and residential.
I can.
Building. What all was on the commercial side?
Well, if there's a one-story structure on the far west side that adjoined a 2.5-story, at least the parapet wall was was immediately to the east of that structure, and then there were 3 other mercantile buildings on the ground floor and the apartments in that middle structure above, next to the I think it was a payday loan or some kind of tax service there on the west side. And there were apartments above, and that's where those rescues were affected from.
And you talked about at least 2 people were rescued. Is that just by the firefighters that would have died, or by
This is from this is just from the scene. From the scene, we had affected 2, and again, non-confirmed a 3rd rescue from inside. Are there any other questions? And hold on one second. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, yes.
I was at a fire at that scene several months ago. Has there been any series of fires there?
Not that is one thing we'll look at during the investigation, but not right off. We know throughout the years we have responded to that. I mean, everybody on the fire department who works in the core of the city drives by that fire station 3-4 times a day. So we know the structure well. We've responded there. So it's a neighborhood building. So thank you for your time.
Your thoughts.
Well, the only thought that I have is thoughts for the families, particularly the children of firefighter Mesh. It's unfortunately situations like this really bring home to all of us the danger that firefighters and police officers confront every day, and what the possible consequences of that danger are. The one thing that I will say is that it is absolutely amazing to see the coalescence of the firefighters last night at the hospital. These 2 gentlemen here leading their organizations in a time when people were really distressed and torn up was a tribute to their leadership, and also a tribute to the firefighters generally. The manager and I certainly express our condolences to the families of those fallen firefighters, and we'll do whatever we can to assist. Other than that, I don't have much else to say. Troy? All right, if there's nothing else, then we'll be finished. You guys? Thank you all very much.
City leaders just express the mourning that the entire city feels after 2 firefighters died in the line of duty from saving 2 people. What we know about them: Larry Leggio is a 17-year veteran, and John Mesh, a 13-year veteran.